Welcome to the show, guys. Today, I want to talk about the MVP race in a running back, particularly a rookie running back that I believe should be the MVP ahead of Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to go over all the stats, details to back this up and also give you my prediction on who I think is going to be the MVP for this year because there is an MVP race going on right now. And I'm going to go over who's, a candidate for that and who should actually be over CMC because I hear a lot of hype about CMC being the MVP, deservingly so. Not that I'm a CMC hater, even though some people might think that. But at the end of the day, man, I believe this other running back should be the MVP, and he had some hindrances, which I'll go over right now, which was total BS. I'm going to dive into it. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys do subscribe, thumbs up, smash that thumbs up, guys. Really helps the channel. Takes 2 seconds of your time. Everyone says that in their YouTube channels, but I really mean it, and it's because it helps the algorithm, helps the channel. We're out here creating content for you guys, so a thumbs up really helps. And drop a comment below. Let me know below who is the MVP for 2023-2024 season as we're headed to the 24 season. But 2023, who is the MVP for this season? Love to get your feedback. Dive into the comments. Let me know, okay, guys? Now, I'm going to do a quick screen share here. I want to show you here some running back numbers, particularly Christian McCaffrey here. The guy's crushing it, okay? 1,292 yards here. As you can see here, 1,292 yards, 13 touchdowns, which is wild. Absolutely wild. So, and you look at receptions, 57 receptions, 509 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. Okay, I want you guys to remember these numbers, 1,292 yards on the ground. Now, 13 touchdowns, amazing numbers, by the way. Now, you got to take a look at one thing here, which is the attempts, okay? The attempts are very high. So high, in fact, that if I filter by attempts, you'll see he's the #1 attempt getter, okay? I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as I go into who I believe is the running back that is actually better than Christian McCaffrey in a moment here before I do that. Now, I do want to actually pull up something very, very important here. I'm going to pull this up for you. Is the MVP race right now? Again, this is as of December 20th. These are the odds here. So we got Brock Purdy, kind of the favorite. Again, this is a little outdated. When you see, actually, no, 20th. Today, I'm recording this on the 21st. We got Brock Purdy here slated as the favorite here to win, minus 200 favorite here to be the MVP candidate. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, all great players this year, no doubt. Christian McCaffrey, Pat Mahomes, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Hurts, okay? Now, understandably so, these guys are great. They had a great year, and I totally understand the Christian McCaffrey debate, but I just want you to take a look at these guys here. Great talent. Brock Purdy kind of coming out of nowhere. Kind of expected him to have a good year, but not as good as we thought. Teams winning, teams doing well. Lamar Jackson doing well this year. Got paid this big contract. I had my doubts because he's been banged up past couple of years. Same with Christian McCaffrey, right? He hasn't been able to stay healthy. Had a good year last year. 2 years prior, not so good. So when I look at this, I see Christian McCaffrey in here. He really jumps out. And he is a primary guy. And I want to tell you there's a guy that's better than Christian McCaffrey at the running back position, just never got the opportunity this year. And you can say, well, Joe, yeah, I know the numbers aren't there, so why are you even talking about it? Because they should be there. And I'm going to go over that. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of some of the candidates here for MVP. Now, I'm going to switch back here to the trusty chart that I have here. There you get my mugshot there. My face there, not a very good looking picture there. So we're going to switch that over here. So as you can see here, I wanted to go back and talk about Christian McCaffrey and who's better. So who is actually better than Christian McCaffrey? That's the big question. You guys could drop your comments below if you agree or disagree. And also, again, drop who you think is the candidate here for MVP, who should actually win it this year, okay? So I'm going to filter here by fantasy points. Christian McCaffrey, top fantasy point getter as well. The guy I believe, okay, and I mean this with absolute certainty and conviction, he is better than Christian McCaffrey, just never got the opportunity, is Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I'm going to show you guys why right now. This is not, I'm just not pulling pie out of the sky here. This is actual facts here. I want you to take a look at Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going to minimize my face here a little bit so you guys can see some numbers here. Take a close look here at Jahmyr Gibbs' numbers. I want you to analyze it because that's what I did here. Jahmyr Gibbs only was limited to 139 attempts. This is why I really hate David Montgomery. David Montgomery had 178 attempts, okay? On 139 attempts, this is actually, I'm looking at standard scoring here, by the way. He put up 156 points, Christian McCaffrey just under 300, 296, okay? But don't worry about the fantasy points right now. I want you to take a look at the attempts here. 139 attempts. That's it. Compared to Christian McCaffrey's 244. Look at what David Montgomery vultured here, 178 attempts. Now, when Jahmyr Gibbs was playing on his own, he had some great games, okay? I'm going to pull that up here real quickly here. I don't know if you can see it here. What are we looking at? We are looking at, I believe it was a couple weeks ago. I think it was week 7 and 8. Week 8, there was literally no David Montgomery. 26 attempts, 152 yards rushing on the ground, 5.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown, okay? Those are the types of numbers. I mean, that was a big game, but we're looking at 20, 25 attempts in a game without David Montgomery. And that's what we need to see. We don't need to see David Montgomery there. What I'm saying here is if Jahmyr Gibbs had the full attempts, let's say he took away another 110 away from David Montgomery here, he would be on par with the same volume or even more than Christian McCaffrey, and he'd be performing a lot better, okay? That's what I want to emphasize here, okay? If you look at it, 792 yards on the ground, okay, and only 139 attempts, 5.7. He's averaging more yards per carry, 5.7 versus 5.3, and he had 7 touchdowns with less than half the attempts that Christian McCaffrey had. So what I'm saying is this, guys, and I want you to hear me out, okay? In half the volume, the attempts, he's getting about half of what Christian McCaffrey has, and I projected it out. If you doubled it, right? And I think because of Jahmyr Gibbs' amazing explosiveness, he would actually have more numbers. I projected it out to at least 1,900 yards on the ground, 1,800 to 1,900 yards on the ground, compared to Christian McCaffrey is at 1,292. And again, I'm telling you, Jahmyr Gibbs is the better back, young, dynamic talent, but he was hindered by David Montgomery's 178 attempts, okay? At 855 yards, gone. 10 touchdowns near the goal line, gone. So if you're Christian McCaffrey sitting at 13, there's 17 touchdowns to be had that Jahmyr Gibbs could have easily got, or maybe more, because he's more explosive. And what really pisses me off about this is that when David Montgomery was gone, Jahmyr Gibbs absolutely tore it up. He is the better out of the backs. Every time he touches the ball, he's a better back. He's better receiving back. He's a better through the tackles back. You could debate that, but there's no debate here. You know, I understand Montgomery's a bruiser and they use him, you know, to move the ball down the field, you know, smash the ball down, you know, down the defense's throats. But Jahmyr Gibbs is the better back. And when I'm playing and I'm a coach, I want the best player out there. So I wouldn't be wasting any of the attempts on David Montgomery when I know I've got Superman as my running back. So the point of this video is, obviously want to talk a little bit about MVP candidate, which I think, you know, CMC is probably going to end up winning it anyway, or Purdy or whoever. I think it's going to be a coin toss. Again, depends on how it plays out here, you know, last game or two. But I just want to talk again about Jahmyr Gibbs and the lack of respect he's getting this year, because he could have broke rookie records here, man. He is really that good. And mind you, I'm not even biased. Actually, you can say I'm a little biased because I drafted him. He's on my fantasy team. But you know, I really believe the talent is there, and he got hindered by David Montgomery. Now, the problem is, when we're talking fantasy football, and we're talking next year, David Montgomery's still going to be there. He's going to be a pest, and that's the problem. He does get hurt. David Montgomery does get hurt, but he's not out for the season. He always misses a bunch of games, so he will be a pest. That is the problem. Now, again, Jahmyr Gibbs is performing. He's putting up good numbers, but he's not hitting his potential. His ceiling is limited with the pest that is David Montgomery. So I wish David Montgomery goes away. You can't say you wish injuries, but you're hindering such a great young talent from doing well in Jahmyr Gibbs, and that's a bit of a shame. So again, looking at these numbers here again, as we wrap this up here, and again, drop a comment below. Let me know who you think the MVP is, and tell me, is it a shame for Jahmyr Gibbs? Because what a waste of talent. 178 wasted attempts on David Montgomery here. 10 touchdowns on the ground. As you can see in the receiving game, he's getting all the targets, 60 targets to Gibbs compared to 21 for Montgomery. And look at this, targets 68 for Christian McCaffrey, 60 for Jahmyr Gibbs. And that's with David Montgomery getting a bulk load of this work. Can you imagine the ceiling of Jahmyr Gibbs if Montgomery wasn't there, which, again, I wish he wasn't there. Just a big pain in the ass, in my opinion. A real thorn in the side, a real pest, a real cockroach that is David Montgomery, who had his opportunity to shine with the Bears for years and has just sucked, lackluster, just nowhere as near as good as Jahmyr Gibbs. And one of these, his numbers are inflated because he had that one big breakout run, which is a rare anomaly for David Montgomery, because he's not an explosive back. He's not that good. And there you go. He did well. So bottom line is, guys, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a far superior running back. He should be MVP, but he was hindered by David Montgomery. Just a damn shame. Shame, shame, shame. It really, really bothers me. But again, what can you do? It is what it is. So let me know in the comments what you think. Who's the MVP for this year? And yeah, man, do you agree with me that Jahmyr Gibbs should be is better than CMC? What are your thoughts? By just being crazy? Because when you project the numbers out, he's done so much with such little volume. Imagine if he had 245, 250 attempts. Imagine the dominance, the explosiveness that he has. He would have opened up so many more opportunities, so much more yardage, so many more touchdowns, but he was hindered. And his rookie year was shadowed by the pest that is David Montgomery. Let me know your thoughts, guys, below. Love to get your feedback. Smash thumbs up and more amazing content coming your way. Subscribe, guys. We go year round and start projecting stuff out for 2024. Season's not done here with the Fantasy Football Counselor podcast. Subscribe, thumbs up, drop a comment below. Who is MVP? I'm out.